All right, I get quite a few people ask me like, how'd you do this? Oh, you're so handy, whatever. I want to show you how easy this is. So what we're gonna do is, this is hydroponic and this is lettuce. So what I do is, that was the same as this. They were actually smaller than this. I start off my seedlings in, a little starter box. Then I'll pull them out of there, clean off the roots, spray them off, rinse them off in water, get them cleaned up as much as I can. Then I transplant them into these containers. This is a 27-gallon storage container from Home Depot. They're about 10, 12 bucks. You want to use something dark, and the reason for that is if light gets to it, then algae quickly grows, and you want to see what that looks like. It will look like this, and what the algae does is will rob all of the oxygen from the water, and these plants have to have oxygen in order to survive. So the way this works is, you fill up the tub with water, and then there's a gap somewhere in here. You can see the white roots and everything coming off, but there's a gap that'll start forming between the bottom of these. So when I filled it up, I started off with the water level about here, and then it will, as they consume the nutrients, which is water and fertilizer, water soluble fertilizer, it will start to go down, and the roots will just keep going down, hitting all of, it'll drink up all of the nutrients. This being lettuce, it's not real hot right now, so it may not consume all of it, and this is probably a little bit of overkill for something this size. But what I'll do with this is, I'll come out maybe another week or so, they'll get pretty big. I mean, this is 6 days growth, and in another week they'll start getting big enough, and I'll come out and I'll start just cutting off the outside leaves, and it will keep growing. It'll grow for a long time. So as long as you keep cutting it, you can keep having it. You can have more and more lettuce, and you don't have to remove the plant. I mean, you can if you want to. If you want to have a head of lettuce rather than pulling off lettuce, but it's up to you. Anyways, there are 2 or 3 different kinds of lettuce in here. So this one here, and that one over there, and the other one over there, they're different kinds than the other ones, so there's nothing wrong with them. That's why they're a little more pale. I think those are the Butter Crunch. This is an interesting one here. So this guy was my biggest plant, and when I was separating them from when they were in one of these containers over here, I was using a knife, and I accidentally cut all of the roots off of it. And I said, you know what, let me just put this in a pot and let's see what happens. If it just dies, I'll just throw it away. Well, this is what happened in a week. So stuff works very well. So anyways, let's get started. So you buy one of these containers, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, wherever, Menards, if that's what you have next to you, Amazon, wherever. Now, the difference is going to be most likely that this is actually a lid from a while ago. The lids now have these fake looking welds on the top, which make it a little bit more difficult. So if yours has that, you may want to flip it over and drill the holes from the bottom. So what we're going to do is, everywhere there's a square, we're going to drill a hole with a 2-inch hole saw. And this is what a hole saw looks like. It's got a drill bit in the middle, and then has teeth around the outside on this metal cylinder, and it just spins around and cuts. And then what we're going to do is, inside, these are called net cups, and this is what holds the plant. Now what I do is I modify these, because the thing that I ran into when I first started doing this is like, oh, let me just put my plant in here. And I do this not really the typical way that it's done. So a lot of people will use what's called rock wool, but I follow this guy on YouTube, Mike, I forget his name, but anyways, if you look up hydroponics on YouTube, there's a guy on there that does some fabulous stuff. But anyways, so you take these net cups, right? And he turned me on to the idea of using pool noodles. So what you do is you put your plant in here. So you unroll it. You lay your plant across here with the base of the plant sitting here, and then the roots sticking out, and then you just roll it up like this. And so it holds the plant. And then you take this and you stick it inside. It works great. And actually, if you have a big enough pool noodle, you can just stick them in there and they'll hold themselves. You don't even need a net cup. But I just like the net cup because it makes it easy to take it in and out. And that way I'm not damaging the plant. The plant's always it's firmly held so that it's not damaged at all. So, but what I do is I cut this off, because what I found was when I was trying to stick them in there, I would break the roots trying to get them to go through these holes, because I'm growing them a little bit longer than a lot of people will start them in these. But anyway, so this is what it looks like now. You can see that. So this is all open, so if you take that out, there's a hole, and that way this just sits in there and you're good to go. So anyways, all right, so now on to doing this. So you can get those net cups and everything on Amazon or wherever. Now I've got a neck mount for my camera, so if it's a little bit shaky here, forgive me. So anyways, all right, so this is what you want to do. I'm only going to do one of these just to show you how it goes. So basically you're going to make a little cross here, and you're going to do this for every one. Okay, you go all the way across. Get that out of the way, like this. And you just want to mark the center of them all. From here, we'll mark the same thing. Does it have to be exact? No. But the more exact it is, the better it's going to look in the end. This is too long. I'll just use this little one. Okay, so you get the idea. So you mark all these spots, all these outside ones, you just leave those. The nice thing about these, that it's not a flat top. If it was completely flat with nothing in it, no structure to it, the weight of the plants as they got bigger, not necessarily with lettuce, but using a heavier plant like a tomato or something like that, is this provides support and rigidity, where if this was all flat, it wouldn't. It would start to bow on you. So that's one nice thing about these. And they're so damn cheap. Now I know some people are going to complain, oh my God, you're using plastic, and is it food safe, etc. Roundup is not food safe. So it's better than Roundup. The plants are not sprayed with anything. It's just growing in the nutrient solution, which is water-soluble fertilizer that gets mixed in, and it's not very much either at that. But anyways, let me just show you how to do this real quick. So you take your drill, you get the center of it, stick your drill in there, and start spinning. And that's that. And then when you're done, you'll do all your plants, and you take your net pot and you drop it in the hole, and it sits there. And you can see it ain't going nowhere. It's just held in by force, by the expanding of the pool noodle, and it holds it in there. And if you need to work on your thing, on your nutrients, change them out or something, it makes it very simple. You pick it up, there you go, there's the nutrients, change it out, do whatever you got to do. You set this somewhere on somewhere where the roots are suspended. When you're done, you put it back on, and if you have another container, you can just set it on top of there temporarily and just let it sit there. Or you can do another container and have that one ready to go and just move them over and clean this one out. Just wash them out with soap and water, and that's it. So that's about all there is to it. So this particular one makes 23 holes, I believe it is. And then you fill it up with water up to the bottom of the net pots. You stick your plants in there, or you stick the sorry, before you stick the plants in there, you'll put the nutrients in there, which I'll show you in a different video. It's Master Blend tomato formula. Buy it on Amazon. I'm sure you can buy it other places too, but that's where I get it from. It's like 25 bucks, and there's probably enough in there to last you. Well, I bought it during COVID, so that was 2019 or 20 when I bought that. I still have it. That's what's growing in here. That's what I'm using to grow. It works great. As long as you keep it inside in the air conditioning, you know, it's sealed up in a bag, it's fine. So it still works. It's still good, and it's working very well. Now, to show you why I don't like growing in dirt, these are the problems you start running into. So this particular plant is having issues not getting enough nitrogen or nutrients or whatever. It's having some issue there. It's having, you know, uptake problems, and it's all of these. The tomatoes are fine. The tomatoes are growing great, and I grew tomatoes in these same containers. I only put like 2 in those because they, you know, use a lot more nutrients and all that. But yeah, for whatever reason, these are not getting enough nutrients in there. So whatever, I'm gonna end up transplanting those. That's actually what I'm gonna be putting in there, not just lettuce. And then I got basil, and the basil grows really well in there as well. And then some carrots and some peppers and some onions over there, and I think those are beets. So anyways, that's that. Enjoy.